Vikings 38, 7-0 Atlanta first quarter. 4 on the play clock. Kirk's trying to get him to jump. Nope, takes the snap. On fourth down. Back to pass. Throws right. Incomplete. And the Minnesota Vikings turn over Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons on downs. 3rd and 8. Minnesota 6 of 11 on 3rd down. Sam under a lot of pressure. How'd you get away from that? Now he throws deep. Justin wide open. Caught. Touchdown! Justin Jefferson with a 48-yard reception. But Sam Darnold was Houdini for the day. And the Vikings have taken a 20-13 lead. 3 receivers right. Sam Darnold out of the shotgun. Jones picks up a blitzer. Pass right. Caught Addison to the end zone. Touchdown! Jordan Addison makes it 34-21. And for Sam Darnold, that's a high five. For the first time in his career, he's thrown 5 touchdown passes in a game. And for Jordan Addison, that's the first 3-touchdown game of his career. Hey, Buffalo Wild Wings, Roseville. Hello. Hello. What's going on? It is the Friday football Wings and Wins with PA in Charch at Buffalo Wild Wings Roseville on FM 100.3 KFAN. Buffalo Wild Wings, your Minnesota Vikings are 11-2. Can I get a witness? 11-2. Let's meet the team right here of the master mixer on sound, Jared Wells, ladies and gentlemen, beloved J-Dub. Nick Madden's street team with Ellie and Grace over there to serve your every need. A round of applause for them, please. And in the Gray Duck corner with a record of 9-10 versus the Chicago Bears, which included 94 solo tackles with just 3 whiffs on Devin Hester. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a witness and a raucous round of applause for Mr. Chad Greenway? Courtesy of Gray Duck Vodka and Gray Duck Spirits. What's going on, everybody?
What up and good morning.
Sam Darnold, though.
Sam Darnold, though. He's hot.
Okay, now the Sam Darnold, though, bit, for those of you who don't listen to the feast, it started, where was it, Crystal?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Crystal. So we're at Buffalo Wild Wings Crystal. A little snoozy, getting ready to start the 9 to noon show. Just beat Jacksonville. Quarterback throws 3 picks, actually threw 4. 1 was nullified on a penalty by the Jags. And but the Vikings won the game. So I'm sitting there with Chad, and he didn't know what to say. He looks at me and goes, Sam Darnold, though. Like there was a significant concern, and at that time there was. So now, off a 5-touchdown performance, Sam Darnold, though, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think now?
It's funny how we create these problems for ourselves. All of a sudden, we have a quarterback problem again, just like that. And when you think you cured it, you bring in Sam Darnold, he's great. Now it's like, what are we gonna do next year? Everybody's always worried about the next year. It's like, well, let's just enjoy the now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Ain't tripping on that. What's up, Charch?
Hi, Paul. Chad, have you ever had a player at any level at any time quit in the middle of a game? That happened last night.
We've had a coach that was mid-season.
That was mid-season.
And it wasn't during a game. It was after.
The game, but it was after. Yeah, so no.
That's never happened before.
Never seen that one.
Do you have any insight into, what would make somebody be third quarter of a game and just go, you know what, I'm out. I'm done. I'm just going to drive home.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, the personal.
Devondre Campbell for the 49ers last night was asked to go in for Dre Greenlaw, and he said no. And then he went to the locker room. And he'll probably never play it down for next level Shaddy. And good morning.
And good morning. I think didn't we have this 2 weeks ago with another receiver that got traded? Was he from Baltimore?
No, Deontay Johnson.
Deontay.
So I think, is this a response now for players gaining more control over contracts and teams now potentially going to play those guys or pay those guys to come in next year and say, I'm not going to go into this situation, risk injury or opportunity, or it's just absolutely making bad personal decisions.
Doesn't it seem more like
and
that?
Basically saying you're going to have a job selling insurance next year.
Right.
And I guess they're okay with that.
He's making $4.5. Well, he was making $4.5 million.
Yeah, big insurance book.
You gotta really hustle in the insurance game to make that.
A lot of appointments and meetings.
A lot of appointments. It seems super weird. We don't see it a lot. We saw Antonio Brown quit in the middle of a game, right? I don't think
that's a mental health issue.
Yeah, I don't. Well, probably yes.
Well, the Deontay Johnson is what I thought you were talking about because I didn't watch the game last night.
Yeah, I didn't know this till this morning.
Now, when you see this right here, it's what's going on. It's like, is it? I'm not getting my way. I'm upset at leadership.
Yeah.
Coaching. Now I'm going to get the opportunity to go in. So that's I'm guessing what the response is.
So you've never had that?
Go for Devondre Campbell.
Yeah, Golden Gopher, Green Bay, Atlanta.
Packer.
Yeah, he was the one trying to run down Wisconsin running back James White in that Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
When New England was down like 28-3. But so you've never been with a player who refused to go into a game? Because after the 04 season, or right at the end of the 04 season for the Vikings, they're at FedEx Field, and Randy Moss left the field early, went to the locker room. Vikings lost, but ended up getting into the postseason because of a Carolina-New Orleans game. John Casey, for whichever team for whom he was playing, missed from like 63. Vikings back in. You got that truck going beep, beep, beep. They got in, went to Green Bay next week. And you know how it is when you arrive at the Paper Valley in Appleton. I mean, you got Green Bay fans ready to talk trash. You got Vikings fans ready to celebrate.
Those cookies.
The Vikings helmet cookies. The Vikings weren't supposed to be in the playoffs. All right. There was nobody there. I mean, nobody was like, big deal. Green Bay, 10-point favorite, 7-point favorite in this game. There's no way Green Bay can lose. Then they played the game, and then Green Bay lost.
Yep.
And then the Vikings lost to Philadelphia the next week, which seems to be a common refrain in postseason games after emotional victories. But, that's about the only recollection that I have.
Yeah, man, I can't even picture, having a teammate who you would have thought, especially Devondre Campbell as a veteran.
Right.
Been around the league, seen a lot of things, been a really good player, was a great player in Green Bay. I mean, you're sitting on a $4.5 million contract. You're not
bad.
It's not the guy you pulled off the street. Something's going on, obviously, behind the scenes, or something's going on with him personally to make that decision. As he gets to walk to the locker room right now, it's going to be a talking point all day. I guess it's one of those deals where maybe any news is, including bad news, is good news.
Well, considering how bad the game was last night, this is probably the big talker from that game.
I just don't know where you go from here. It means your career is over. And you got to find something else to do. Because I don't think anybody signs you coming back no matter how good you are.
No.
The big talker from the game, actually, maybe, what do the San Francisco 49ers do moving forward with Brock Purdy? And how badly do they still wish they had Sam the Man on the fan? Well, but they don't. He's wearing purple and gold.
They might get him next year.
they may bring him back next year. Sam
for $50 million.
Yeah, I think he's going to. It sounds like capologists out there, internet capologists, are saying Sam Darnold's going to make about $35 million a year on his next stop. It'll probably be a roughly 4-year deal. He'll make 4 times 30, 100, like about 100, about that. And that that ain't bad. That's life-changing money. Sam's not going to say no to that. And he's been into the San Francisco organization. We want to believe that if we want to keep Sam, he would like to stay because we're so special here, and we've got KOC.
Oh, shucks. That ain't going to happen.
So
he's going to chase those dollars.
Well, it's not the touchy-feely we're so special here. It's the Minnesota Vikings own the franchise tag. So, therefore, you put that on Sam at $38 million, and if he ain't cool with that, and it may be doing somebody dirty. I heard Ben Lieber say that Thursday on the Power Trip, and I understand where he's coming from, but teams are also trying to run businesses.
Yeah.
So, therefore, we're not here to make friends, man. We're here to make money. So, you franchise him at 38 is what I think the number is. You can trade him off that tag. You can keep him on that tag, and there certainly would be suitors, but see, given young JJ, as in McCarthy, is on the horizon and Daniel Jones is on the practice squad, I'll just lay it out like this. It's with the work O'Connell, McCown, Phillips, and the offensive staff have done with Sam Darnold, with Daniel Jones now chilling on the practice squad and getting his mind right after that bad situation with the New York Giants. I don't think it's, why can't they do with Daniel Jones what they did with Sam Darnold, I don't think it's a why. I think we should expect it to happen because Jones is talented, and that's what this staff does. So that's also in the back.
I think you look at it in two ways. Who else do we have to pay? It's going to come on a deal.
Yep.
And you know that much better than I would.
Well, we got Josh Metellus, we got Cam Bynum, and we've got one other guy that we need to pay.
We got like 30 free agents. They're a lot.
So that tells you if you want
Byron Murphy.
If you want
Byron Murphy.
And what is Daniel Jones going to expect in dollars next year? Is he sitting on a contract next year?
He's not.
So
he'll be a backup.
So you're going to give him the 1 year, $12 to $15 million range,
like what Sam got this year.
Gotta have a deal, just what Sam got. Let Sam go get his $35+ million a year. You go pay everybody else, and you go do the same thing you just did. In this, you let Daniel Jones sit on the couch, the therapy couch, in KOC's office, and he just does a little bit of this and gets going. And then next year we're sitting here 10-2 with Daniel Jones at quarterback, and JJ's healthy, and we have a really good backup who's learning.
I get the Sam. You've helped us, okay, and you've helped us do whatever the team will do moving forward. Currently 11-2. Hey, your Vikings are 11-2. Can I get a witness? Some Devondre Campbell out of the gate.
Sorry about that.
But all right, 3-2. It's a business, man. And when it's like, okay, Sam's done this for the team. What has the team done for Sam? I mean, resurrected his career. It's a reclamation project. It's like Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is finding reclamation projects, and we're watching zombie house flipping or something. All of a sudden, we got this mansion at quarterback. So doesn't it behoove the team to find? You just don't let him go for nothing if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So franchise, get something for him, or someone wants to trade for him, see how that goes. I mean, I like that style as well, because at the end of the day, you want a guy like Sam here. You love him. He's winning. He's fun, and he's playing really, really well. Great confidence right now. You can see him on the field, the way he's carrying himself. You know, from week one to now, it's a little bit of a completely different person. And I think you're starting to see is like what the right staff, the right organization, the right system, the right guys. You have these weapons around him now all over the place. Some getting healthy. He's figuring out how to use all these weapons. The only thing we're missing is Adam Thielen in the red zone. We should have traded for him when we had a chance. Still mad about that one, but
Thielen is playing so well right now.
Tearing it up right now.
That looked real good in our arsenal now.
Think about the fat stacks of currency and cash you'll be able to get for Sam Darnold. No matter how you configure it, you know, and it's. I mean, if he just leaves in normal free agency, gets big old fat deal somewhere else, that's cool and everything. But I mean, you could get fat stacks of things to help you moving forward. Now, Dan Orlovsky early in the week, because everybody's talking about Sam Darnold nationally, you know, he was really Dan Orlovsky, ESPN. He's fantastic.
I like him.
Yeah, he was really stressing the importance of Darnold staying in a situation like this. All right, McVay, Rams, maybe if Stafford retires. Purdy, what do they do moving forward with him? Kingsbury, if he eventually gets a head coaching job, you know, he runs a similar situation. So I think that matters too. And Sam, I would imagine Sam would be smart with that. You know, hand picking, or to the best of his ability, hand picking where he can go, which would be best for him.
So I think the way I would work it with Sam, if I were Kwesi, I would say, we're going to put the franchise tag on you with the intention of trading you. We don't want you to say anything. We don't want you to in any way diminish the prospects of you playing here. All of our leverage and position is going to be about you being our starter. But behind the scenes, we're going to look at trading you because we know that we don't want to stand between you and $130 million.
Yeah.
And we're not going to pay you $130 million.
Right.
So we want you to just chill out. We'll put the franchise tag on you, and we're going to go shop you to a team where you want to be with a contract that you find acceptable. Mm-hmm. And I think you could find a team like the 49ers this Brock Purdy thing is looking increasingly dicey right now.
Right.
And if you believe the reports that are out there that the 49ers love Darnold, they liked the year that they had there. They liked him. Mm-hmm. They would have liked to have brought him back, but at $10 million, they weren't going to be in a position to sink that into their own backup quarterback.
Kwesi worked with Niners, knows John Lynch and the personnel people real well.
They could legally even have that kind of conversation now if they want to. So I think that's how you massage this thing. There are 3 or 4 teams that are going to be contenders for Sam Darnold as their next starter at $35 million a year over 4 years, and the Vikings are probably not one of those. And the only real leverage you've got is that franchise cap or that franchise tag, which could unlock a first-round pick, a first and a second-round pick.
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, for a franchise quarterback, you're gonna get something in return for that.
Kevin Stefanski and Cleveland should be interested in Sam Darnold.
Oh boy!
Problem is, they ain't got no money.
Yeah, right? they're already in for $250 million on Deshaun Watson.
Their minus is like a deficit that makes inflation blush.
Right.
Well, you look back to the conversation we had multiple years ago about drafting quarterbacks and how you should do it nearly every year.
Yes.
And when you get in a position like we did with JJ, now this gives you the leverage of having this really good, young, talented quarterback that everybody's excited about.
Yeah.
We all can't wait for him to get his opportunity. The little glimpse we saw in the preseason kind of gives you this look of, wow, we really got a guy that we like. Great personality, everything's good. Then all of a sudden you bring in Sam and you question all offseason, what are we going to have? Now you build this up, and now guess what? Now you have Daniel Jones in.
Right.
And now you have like really good problems to have where you're okay having this conversation with franchising and moving a guy. Really a win for everybody, but you can't make that decision if you don't have quarterbacks waiting, sitting there on a deal. Daniel Jones on a favorable deal to be here, beat Sam Darnold of next year.
Right.
Having JJ as a young guy coming, everybody's excited about who's going to get the reins one of these days. Stack quarterbacks. Patriots model.
But don't you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, if you think I'm overstating it, take me deep. It's with what we now. Don't forget, like Nick Mullins last year when he had to play, we had some turnover issues at the ends of games, but my man was going for 400 passing yards. I mean, and the offense looked like a Kevin O'Connell offense. Milked Dobbs for everything it had. Then he threw the hospital ball in Vegas. Jefferson went to the hospital, and that was it for Josh. Well, seriously.
Literally went to the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, it was a hospital ball. So Kevin... I think O'Connell and the staff have shown enough where I think it's fair to say, well, what's going to be next for Daniel Jones? It's up to Daniel. Just like all the pressure this year I felt was on Sam. Sam, this whole thing's proven, man. And you got 18 over there and 3 over there and 87 over there and 33 there, 71 at left tackle. Okay, he's done. Bring in somebody who's quite competent at it. I think this staff, and specifically since we're talking about offense, the head coach has shown, you give me that reclamation project and you give me the offseason of organized team activities and everything, and watch, it'll be fine, just like Darnold. So if Jones is in the mix next year, I expect him to be as good as he's ever been. Why shouldn't I?
Yeah, and I think when you look at the situation we just laid out with the franchise tag and having that conversation, at the end of the day, nobody's having a conversation with Sam Darnold. It's going to come down to his agent and Rob Brzezinski, who's one of the best, if not the best guy in the business at working contract, massaging, and building relationships with agents.
Yeah.
I don't know who Sam Darnold's agent is. I'm sure we can figure that out real quick. But the reality is it's going to come down to that guy getting a picture painted for him of how this could work, where he gets the biggest, highest percentage, Sam wins, team wins. It's an everybody wins type of deal. And then whatever team comes after him eventually, if that's how it goes down, also wins. So on a high price tag. And so it's painting that picture to an agent in the offseason. But at the end of the day, like, we should live in the now, right? This has been such a fun team to watch, because when we got to have a drive, when we got to have a fourth quarter, when we got to have a play, we found those plays. And those are teams that are inevitably hard to beat, especially if a team with a defense is playing well. And it's exciting. It's fun. When we get the ball in our hands in the fourth quarter that, good things have happened, and you feel like we have the right staff to make the right calls, the right quarterback to make the throws, and certainly the weapons to get the ball to. They're going to make plays. And having said all that, none of it happens without the offensive line playing really
well. And Cam Robinson just walked into left tackle.
Yeah.
And we've basically forgotten about him. Yeah. And that's the best thing you can say.
But it's a prove it deal, right? So he comes in on a prove it. Like, I know I can still play.
Yeah.
What kind of guy are we going to get? A motivated guy, or a guy who's like, you know what, this is over. And can't hear.
We're good. Keep going.
Yeah.
Are we?
Cam, what I was saying about Cam Robinson, it might just be in the house, that the house can't hear. But
it doesn't matter. It's a radio show. Keep talking.
Right. The Cam Robinson has been so fundamentally sound at left tackle that why not? The fact that you can lose one of the best left tackles in the league, have a replacement come in, and you're not in a panic. every hike is a very good sign.
Very good sign, 100%. I think you get a guy who appears to be motivated, and again, come back to the organization and the staff. He likes it here. He's enjoying being here, and winning helps that, certainly, but the staff that they put together here, guys want to play here. Guys want to play for this staff, and I think that says a ton about these guys.
So money at the end of the day is the biggest factor, but so how big are the other things, like the coaching staff, the facility, like the NFLPA puts out that report at the end of the year where the players all grade everything, and the Vikings, the ownership grade and the facility grade and the training room grade.
Vikings
and all that
were one,
stuff.
weren't they?
Yeah, the Vikings were number one last year.
Even with these winters we have up here.
Yeah, even with the winters here.
You love it.
Does that stuff really matter? I mean, we know it's money
matters
first,
one,
but
especially it depends on where you're at in the league. If you're later on in the league and you're going to be a guy, you're a 9, 10, 11 year vet, and you're looking to just kind of see your way out of the league. You want to win,
right?
Well, you got to be on a winning team. You got to go to a winning organization. Look at Thielen, for example. He goes to Carolina. He's got good years left. He went down there, and essentially they've struggled, and it's been a hard grind. He's playing well now personally. Quarterback's playing a little bit better, but it's not been fun for him down there for the most part when it comes to wins and losses. You get a guy in his fourth year trying to cash in, it's money. It's all money. And I think sometimes when you factor in the weather does factor. At the end of the day, is people don't love to live here in the winter. It's just the way it is.
Okay, but you get to train indoors, you get to practice indoors, and you get to play indoors. I mean, I don't know. It's not the same as.
Have you been outside today? I have.
I understand, but I think I'd like to think that somebody's not going to not come to Minnesota because they don't want the 100-foot walk.
If there's more money in Miami or more money in Charlotte or in Texas or in Southern California, they're going to go there.
Think so?
You have to outspend those organizations, in my opinion, when you factor everything in, because people don't think about how many pro athletes grow up in the north of Minnesota. There's only so many South Dakota.
Well, hockey players,
Wisconsin.
we have plenty.
Got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Used to the winters. But guys that grow up in the South don't think, I'm going to go to Minnesota for less money. Never going to happen.
Hey, let me ask you this before we pause. Vikings run defense, all right? Now, there are 2 games left without Ivan Pace Jr. He's missed the last 2. Expectation is he'll return for the Green Bay Packers game at U.S. Bank Stadium December 29th. So the team has allowed 156 rushing yards per game the last 2. Him not playing, I mean, has to be a big part of that, right?
Well, I think it's a combination of game planning, right? Understanding what we've been doing for the length of this season.
Yeah.
Where have the wins been defensively? Situation of the game, and there's a lot of factors. That's why stats are tell a fuzzy story a lot of times.
Yeah.
The thing about Ivan Pace is the guy frustrates you sometimes because he might be out of position, may struggle in coverage a couple times, and then he makes splash plays left and right, and you're like, this guy makes plays. He's around the ball. You see him. I saw a replay of his the fumble recovery for a touchdown. I mean, he's around the ball. He makes plays.
Yeah,
he makes mistakes as well, and he takes risks. And I think that's good and bad at the same time. But when it comes to being a thumper in the box, stopping the run,
that's his strong suit.
The kid can play. Can play. I mean, you think back to guys that I played with, especially in college. Abdul Hodge went to Green Bay and played. In the box, 9-on-7 drills, there's just nobody better to have a feel for where the ball's going to go, the timing to get there, the angle to take. Eric Kendricks is really good at this and built a lot like Ivan Pace.
E.J. Henderson?
EJ just was like a Mack truck. But guys built and Pace is built the same way. He's stout. You're not going to move him. You're not going to move him.
No.
And he's physical, but instinctively, he's so good at understanding angles and how to get guys down, limit yards, limit first downs and opportunities. So you miss that when you get a guy out that's not him, and he's, for all intents and purposes, been a really, really good, fun surprise for us in the draft. You need him on the field, just like we needed Cashman on the field. And any little piece you take away,
right?
That's what makes what Detroit's doing so scary.
Yeah.
Because defensively, they're out 11, 12, 13 guys over the course of a year, and they're still getting big wins and playing well defensively. So.
This is the second game against Chicago in 4 weeks, right? Yeah. We played them 3 weeks ago. How much do you look at the tape from the previous meeting and go, okay, they beat us with this, and this, and we have to just go take that away, versus not overreacting to that game and still trying to be who you are and do what you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you have to take it in, because that's the first point everybody's going to look for is that is what already won.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to think from a coaching standpoint, they're for sure going to clean that up.
Yes.
Because we all see that we beat him on this play 3 times, or this look, or this motion, whatever it was. But when they're in this defense, and we know they're going to go in this defense on 2nd and 8, because it's, we got 2 yards on a first down run, it's going to be a pass. They're in this, and they were in this consistently. Now, how can we get them in that situation again and go win? Because we know what defense they're going to go to. So self-scout becomes really important. And the timing, that's why the timing of your bye really matters. So this is a post-game bye.
Yep.
So we already played them post-game or post-bye. So you're self-scouting, but not to the level you need to be. So are you going in and doing the work and understanding? So it's those guys, those GAs that are behind the scenes, the Kevin Stefanskis of 06, 07, 08.
Yeah.
Finding those things that, hey, we got to stay away from this call on 3rd and 7 because we went to the well too many times.
Yeah.
And they're going to burn us looking forward. So that's the game within the game, where coaches are looking at that constantly behind the scenes. And those guys that are putting the extra work in are going to bring a sheet of paper to the coordinator and be like, hey, here's what we're doing too consistently. We got to change things up. Maybe we need to show them a pressure on first down. Get away from that first down run. Now they're 2nd and 11. That's the stuff that really it dictates these back-to-back games so close.
Let's advance that conversation around the corner because I think it's fascinating. Because the Bears game, the Jags game and the Bears, those games are 2 massive games this year for the Minnesota Vikings, and I'll explain why when we return to Buffalo Wild Wings in Roseville. Hey, Friday football feast. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, as always, for listening to KFAN. Thanks to TimberTech and TimberTech.com for the What's on Deck, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank has given one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Alec Lewis from The Athletic joins us here about 15, 20 minutes from now. Courtney Cronin, who covers the Chicago Bears for ESPN.com and ESPN Nation. Charch and I will be calling her at about 11 o'clock. I forgot to text you this last night, Charchy. I will lead with Courtney with a wonderful opportunity she has this weekend for ESPN Radio. She's going to be the sideline reporter for Steelers at Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Pretty
Okay.
sweet.
Wow, good for her.
We're going to lose her.
All right.
Oh, well, we already lost her. She's in Chicago. All right, 3-2. So just keep that in mind when I go down that road.
All right, so she will not be at the Bears game.
Oh, no, she will. It's a Monday night game.
Oh, okay. So she's going to do that on Sunday and then fly to here for the Monday. Gotcha.
All right, 3-2 with the Friday football feast team.
Why is it always on us?
I don't know.
Why is it always our fault?
Because you said she's not going to be at the Vikings game when she does sideline on a Sunday, and the Vikings-Bears game's a Monday night.
Doesn't mean you could do both. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just saying. Okay.
Right. Amelia Earhart, ever airplane travel?
I wonder what the difference is for Courtney came in, immediately she comes in, you can see how talented she is.
Yeah.
I wonder from an opportunity standpoint, what that looks like for her to go full-time 16 weeks sidelines compared to what she's doing now on a national scale.
I don't know.
It's just interesting. A guy with 4 daughters who loves sports.
Right.
They want to get into the field. It's very, very, very interested in that.
Well, like we shared before the break with the question that Paul brought up about playing a team within the last month. Mm-hmm. Think about this with the Jaguars game. Okay, Sam Darnold though, Buffalo Wild Wings Crystal. They win the game. What they score? 12 points that game.
I think it was 12.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, something like that. 12. So, but they win the game, which, as you know, is key. So the common thread there was all the interceptions. He's trying to force it to 18. All right. Well, that obviously had to change, right? So again, when we get into coaching and how they fix things in fine fashion and in quick fashion, next game against Tennessee, there were 2 that were forced to 18. Neither one were picked off. Go to the next game. They come back home, and now things have, they go to Chicago. And Jefferson has 2 catches. He had that 20-yarder in overtime, which was massive, all right? Now, but in the game, off what Charch said, Addison goes for what, 162?
160, yeah.
Hawkinson had 114, 109 in second half and overtime. So they found where those bones were buried. And Aaron Jones ran for more than 100. So go ahead and quadruple him. Watch this. Go to the next game, Arizona. Loosened up a little bit. He gets up around 96, 99. All right, because of what Addison, Hawkinson, and Jones and Naylor have done. And then go to the most recent game, and we got a blow-up performance. I mean, you got D. Alford falling on his face trying to run around chasing Justin, doing pirouettes on the next play. I mean, they were so lost that they permitted 2 receivers to score 5 touchdowns on them. That's how lost the Falcons were. So the Jaguars game, they pushed through the interceptions. Darnold listens, doesn't force it to 18. Then the other spots start blowing up. Has it all open for Justin the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I think when you look at when your superstar Jefferson is saying these things, like, listen, I don't care if I get mine.
Right.
He's sitting on big wads of fat cash, as they say, right? Let the other guys, we want to win. How do we win? How do you change? So it shows you 2 things. First of all, manufacturing wins during the season. It doesn't matter how ugly they are. You never apologize for W's in the NFL at all. You just get into the tournament. It's all that matters. Just like these Chiefs we keep talking about, how they're struggling. They're going to get in the tournament. Guess who's hard to beat in the tournament? Patrick Mahomes. So figure that one out, right?
Yeah.
So you go back to now talking about our squad. The more diverse you can be offensively when you spread about all these weapons we talked about, that's the advantage we have. We've paid these guys. We have young, talented guys like Addison who is still sitting on a rookie deal. You have Hawkinson coming back and healthy on a big deal. You have these guys and weapons now. Use them all. And I still think when I watched the game live 2 weeks ago, are we waiting? Are we putting a governor on Sam from the start of our game, and then when we have to have it, we let him
rip?
Let him rip. It seemed that way before. Last point. They obviously listen to the radio show because they're listening to us.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Absolutely. You're
welcome, guys. Take this 9 to noon. They probably clear their calendars and schedules.
They should. Yeah.
KOC for sure is.
Yep, definitely.
What they say today, we should listen to them and figure it out, and we'll win the next week. So you're welcome, guys.
I think Jordan Addison has just now gotten good enough that if you're going to triple Justin, now Addison's in single coverage, and he's murdering single coverage and getting open, and we have a quarterback who can deliver him the ball.
Yep.
And now that creates a whole new dynamic that we did not have.
And you can deliver him the ball because you're not focused on, I have to get the ball to 18.
Right.
And one thing, and just listening on radio, which I do more often now, this is where I'm always in the car or something on game day, is Pete does such a good job of identifying single and double coverages
Big
over the
time.
top of Jefferson.
Yeah.
And it's like, so he'll literally pre-snap, give me what they're doing. And I'm like, okay, I like this 101.
Like that. Yeah.
He says it really quietly, softly, but he says it, and you know that he's got single. You know he's going to look here. Bursich is the man.
The Bills and Detroit Lions. All right, so
It's a juicy one.
it is that time of the year where, I mean, you're a game behind the Lions in the standings, really a game and a half because they beat you. Buffalo doesn't lose 2 in a row too frequently. They were in that monstrous shootout against Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Bills are getting healthy here. The Lions are a little bit too, but the Bills, they'll get wide receiver Keon Coleman back.
Yep.
I believe they'll get tight end Dalton Kincaid.
Correct.
And the Lions are going to get Aleem McNeil, defensive lineman, left the most recent game with a concussion. He's going to play, I think, Taylor Decker. Yes. Left tackle Taylor Decker. Massive, massive addition for the Detroit Lions to get him back. This thing on Sunday afternoon, we're Bills fans, but wow, holy cow, who do you guys like in this game, and what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good one. I can't wait for that one just to see how this game has taken stride and taken place and how the styles of play are really fun to watch. The quarterbacks have been playing really well. It's in Detroit. That's what I was looking for here is where is this game being played? Because that clearly matters this time here in Buffalo.
Buffalo does.
Buffalo loves to get somebody coming to their place in December.
Yep. Look at the 49ers game a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Niners just didn't show, basically.
But what the Bills did out in L.A. is they showed they can go toe-to-toe in that environment as well.
Yes.
With a really, really good and scary offense out there out west right now that is healthy and a little scary because coming off the Super Bowl, 3 years ago, whatever that was.
Yep.
So this game is going to be really good. I think it's Lions at home, but obviously I'm a big Bills fan.
Lions have 13 players on defense, I think, on IR right now. Paul mentioned they're going to get one back, but they still have 13 players on defense gone.
Right.
I just, at some point, that's got to cost you a win, right?
You just think that over time, when guys they're not the starter, they're the guy that got brought in, they're the backup, they're figuring out, they're moving guys' positions to try to patchwork it together.
Right.
How long can that last? And how much can the really good offense and really good offensive weapons overcome some of that stuff? If Buffalo can go in, take care of the football, not give them easy ones, not give them takeaways,
right.
not put Detroit on short fields, that's going to dictate a lot of how that defense can play. Make that defense play you and beat you straight up.
Yeah, Packers had the opportunity to beat the Lions. They gave up, I think, 31 points. I mean, just don't give up 31 points to the Lions, and go take care of your business on offense against a defense that most of those players do not belong on the field.
But that Detroit running game is what scares you, because the running game is so good, and what Goff does off the running game is what makes them elite.
Yeah.
And it's what's literally changed Goff's career. Now, Goff's been on a bunch of good years in a row, but that ability has changed. If you take the run game away, if you can make him drop back, not be as worried about the play action pass, because you put them in situations where he's got to drop back and he's got to stare down people.
Right.
He's just not the same guy. When all of a sudden his back's turned and he's faking somebody to Gibbs, and you got to trust that.
That's a problem.
That second level is where it's where Amon-Ra, they're so good in that second level, finding space, and that little bit of timing when he turns his head, that's just what makes him good. So,
Adaberche, do you think in closing Green Bay is favored at Seattle because the NFC North is the best division in the NFL? They're beating everybody outside of savaging themselves. And is Kenneth Walker playing?
Kenneth Walker probably not. He has not practiced yet this week. They got Zach Charbonnet, who's good, but he's not Kenneth Walker. When Kenneth Walker's healthy, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He just got beat down over the season, and I don't think he's going to go here. Geno Smith's had a nice little season.
Yeah.
And the guy that's really emerged for them is Jackson Smith and Jigba, their first round pick from 2 years ago. He's turned out to be really, really good. And now, the Seattle team's in first place in the NFC West, which I don't think anybody really thought was going to be a possibility here. And they look, they're a legitimate team. But
this lineup right here, you mentioned the Bills Lions.
Yeah.
Bucks Chargers, they're sitting on a good game right there, because you have both teams that have to have it.
Yeah.
Eagles Steelers.
Go Chargers.
Yeah, go
If the
Chargers.
Vikings don't win the division, I'd prefer to go to Atlanta.
yes, for sure.
Then
Eagles Steelers.
take sombrero.
Packers Seahawks. Bears Vikings is the finish of your week on a football Sunday. Not all Sundays are created equal, and this was one of the better ones.
What's going on with Grey Duck? Vodka, spirits, and bourbon this weekend, my brother.
So many drinks to choose from, and you're right in the middle of the holiday season. This is the season you go buy gifts. What's the best thing you can give your boss? A $19 bottle of vodka that says "I love you." It's cheap. You can buy one for yourself. You can buy one for your boss. You look like a stud. You're kind of average because you only spent $19.
What if I really like my boss? Can I give a $70 bottle of bourbon?
Yeah, the bourbon is for the heavy swingers. You just buy that for yourself first. If you have a little extra, you buy the vodka for your boss.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tell him you love him.
Hey, have a good weekend, all right?
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Hey, Chad Greenway, ladies and gentlemen. One of the great defensive players in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. Alec Lewis covers the Minnesota Vikings for The Athletic, and young Alec joins 9 to noon at Buffalo Wild Wings Roseville when we return to KFAN.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the fighting city of Anniston, Alabama, by way of Andover, he covers the Minnesota Vikings for The Athletic, and he has a podcast, Can I get a witness and a raucous round of applause for our dear friend, Alec Lewis, ladies and gentlemen? You all read those stories.
He's got a podcast.
He has a podcast, The Alec Lewis Show.
Your hair looks great today.
Thank you, as do your glasses.
Thanks.
The Alec Lewis Show, courtesy of First Resource Bank. Let me ask you this before I forget. And thanks for the flexibility on the time, so you can get over there for the sneaky piece. Now, the super sad song with which you begin your pod. What's the song?
It's not. What's up, Chad?
See you, Chad. All it says is nobody. No,
It's not a sad song. It's kind of like I don't feel like it's sad. It's kind of like
Really?
a hype you up type song.
Well, you never get to the hype part because it's just the sad nobody in the beginning. I expect Jim Harbaugh to jump in and finish it with "Has it better than us? Nobody."
I'm surprised. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't even know where I found the intro song. I think I Googled. I don't know. It's a podcast.
Yeah, but if you play more than 19 seconds of that song, everybody's going to lose their jobs and 401ks.
Exactly.
Okay, so just be cognizant
No,
of that,
I appreciate
okay?
it. No, I appreciate it.
Now, with how to go with Nacho Libre, it's the Alec Lewis Show podcast. You can find it via Twitter and or YouTube. I watched it last night with Ben Lieber, sideline analyst, Vikings Radio Network. So I have my opinions as to how it went. I enjoyed it. How do you think it went?
I thought it was awesome. Ben, I've been trying to track down Ben and get him on the podcast for probably 4 months. He ducked me 3 times.
You notice.
But I was a relentless reporter. I was not letting him off the hook. He was going to be on the show.
Bulldog Alec.
Yeah, no question.
Well, he did it, I think, from the Twin Cities live set, right?
Yeah, he had a Christmas tree behind him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, more than the Twin Cities live sets have Christmas trees. It's it's Christmas season.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that does make sense. There'd be a lot of you have a Christmas tree, I think, behind you where you do your
sometime
at home setup.
What a bulldog.
What a bulldog. You've got a great article in The Athletic about Sam Darnold and his signability and what the options are. We just talked about that a little bit with Chad, but before you go, I do want to circle back to that because you've got a lot of great data in there. I want to start here with Darnold, the deep ball passing, and it's something we've talked about before, but I want to highlight some of the stats behind it. Last summer, I really detailed how this was the biggest weakness in Sam's game, but here's where he is now after last week. It's remarkable. On throws of 20 or more air yards, Sam Darnold ranks number 1 in completions in the NFL, 29 completions of over 20 air yards.
No yak, right? So ball, air, past 20.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Because that's the important thing here, right? Is we care about air yards.
Yep.
We don't want to talk about a screen pass that
goes for
right. Number 2 in passer rating at 124.
It's pretty good.
On passes of over 20 yards. Number 1 in touchdowns. Number 1 in completion percentage at 56%. We got quarterbacks in this league that are throwing for 56% everywhere on the field. Darnold's doing it at over 20 yards. And in total yards accumulated, he's now a 1,000-yard passer just on plays of more than 20 air yards.
What's incredibly impressive, his arm talent, the people listening here at Buffalo Wild Wings and on the radio, it's not a surprise to anyone, but what surprises me sometimes is there are guys in his lap or his arm is getting hit and the ball's still going 40 yards down the field. I don't know how you have the amount of strength for that. What I will say to this number, and it gets to Kevin O'Connell's gotten a lot of credit rightfully for the job that Sam's done this year, and the infrastructure and the skill players have gotten a lot of credit. But what people don't see is Sam Darnold has been for years, and I haven't really dug into this in writing the way I want to, but he works with a biomechanics guy that uses motion capture technology to assess his throwing motion almost on a monthly basis. Right. And those assessments inform him on how he can shape his body to throw as far as possible, as effectively as possible, and as consistently as possible. And he's done this for years. And so the idea that he is better than he's ever been, it's not just some fluke. It is time that has gone into this from his perspective for a long for years, really. And so you talk to people close to him, you talk to family members, you talk to agent, anybody, and part of the reason they are so happy for him is just knowing not only the situations he's been in, but the hours, the sweat equity, all that stuff that just nobody will ever see that has gone into some of those numbers that you bring up.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell's scheme also, I think, gets some credit here, right? I mean, you got to be able to find ways to get players open downfield, and every team wants that, right? I mean, that is a goal that is universal across 32 teams. Is we'd like to get our wide receivers open downfield, please. This team can do it, and Kevin O'Connell is finding ways to get Jordan Addison with 4 yards of separation, 25 yards downfield. Those are things you can't just take for granted.
How about this for Jordan Addison? I found this stat. We've got next gen stats. They kind of track player speed on the field. There is not a receiver over the last 4 weeks that is running routes at a faster miles per hour clip than Jordan Addison. It's above Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
It's above Amon-Ra. Like Jordan Addison, the route running ability is kind of unbelievable. So yeah, but I also think with Kevin, he talked about this earlier this week, and I thought it was so fascinating. With hitters in baseball, like some baseball hitters in the MLB enjoy certain ballparks better than others, and like whether it's the batter's eye or whatever they're seeing, it fits their eye better. And the way Kevin calls games and plays for Sam Darnold, all of these concepts that they're running, the routes that they're running, is in accordance to like what fits Sam Darnold's eye, and that comes from time conversations. That comes from practice time, and that is a level of intentionality from the play caller that you don't get everywhere, and that is part of the reason why they have been as good as they've been offensively.
When are you going to write about that? Because you just kind of talked it out. I mean, it's fascinating. That's Alec Lewis from the Athletic.
I don't have to transcribe this and turn that into an article.
I don't have time. I'm like working on so many stories. I told a buddy yesterday, like it feels like there's
11 and 2 operation.
There are 16 hours in a day. I need like 40 hours in a day. I need more time because this is as fun as it's been, and there are as many storylines.
Well, the fan has learned there happen to be 24 hours in a day.
Right.
16 you're working, I think, is what you're trying to say.
I guess. I don't know. I'm exhausted.
I understand.
Yeah.
He's Alec Lewis from The Athletic and TheAthletic.com with Paul Charchi, and I'm Paul Allen. Buffalo Wild Wings Roseville got all the money today. It's the Friday football on KFAN.